In what ways would you say you guys are a different team than maybe you were the last time you played this guy?
Yeah, I mean, what was that, June or July? We played them here last before the break, so I feel like both teams are quite a bit different. I think for us, especially I think obviously we're playing some different lineups. I think we're playing with much more tempo. I think that's why you've seen us have more success. I think we're just playing at a faster pace, especially on offense. That's where we found a lot of our success is when we push the ball. But obviously that starts on defense. I think our defense has also improved, and that was probably our main focus point over the break. And lucky enough, we were able to have quite a bit of our team, other than Wally, who was at the Olympics in Indianapolis. And I mean, it was basically training camp all over. It was long days, and we were competing at a very high level. Like, we just played a lot, and I think our defense improved there. So I think it starts on the defensive end, but at the same time, that's allowed us to push and be better offensively as well.
Haley, you're playing at a totally different pace at the half of the season. What would you say has contributed to you getting more?
I think just time, honestly. I think you got to be able to feel at your teammates and understand, you want them to understand you, and you have to be able to understand them. And I think that took us a little bit of time. Obviously, we didn't have much practice together when we first started the season. And then obviously I'm just going to get more comfortable as the more games I play. So I think just all that combined into one, it's allowed me to kind of build some confidence. I think especially going into the break, we had some good games and some big wins. I was able to build some confidence there. And then over the break, just getting to work on some stuff that I wanted to work on. And then our team getting to work together, I think that continued to build confidence. And then obviously the way we've started since the break has certainly just been, stepping stones after that.
For time playing the sky, they're notorious for trying to speed you up with pressure in the full court.
Mhm.
What will you have to be intentional about to try to minimize those turnovers if they play at your pace?
Yeah, I think, you never want to let any team, dictate how you're going to play the game. I think that's going to be important. We want to play at our pace. We want to play fast. We don't want any team to slow us down or speed us up. We want to just play right where we want to play. So I think that'll be important. Turnovers are always something that, we kind of preach. We don't want them to score points off of our turnovers. That's very important. I think there's obviously a difference between a good turnover and a bad turnover, and limiting the bad ones will be huge for us.
Times in the beginning, there's one. So, but for you and Angel to both kind of be going at it for it, how fun is that when there's a competition element to a big award like that?
I mean, I think me and Angel would both give you the same answer. Like, you don't wake up and think about individual awards. I know that's what all of you think we do. I know we don't. Like, that's what everybody wants to make this about. But like, we both of our teams are competing for playoff spots. Like, that's our main focus. That's a selfish thing to just care about an individual award. And she would give you the same exact answer. I'm sure she has given you the same exact answer. So for us, like, everybody can write that, but our focus is on winning basketball games. It's simple as that. Like, it's winning basketball games. And that was the same story for us when we were in college. Like, if you're playing basketball to win individual awards, no matter what level you're at, you're doing it wrong. And that's not fun. And that's not being a good teammate.
So you talk with Christie at practice all the time, Sides, to be clear. How was your synergy with her, especially in games, developed throughout the season?
I think it just goes back to building relationships. That's very important for me. I think that allows you to have really good connection, really good chemistry. And I think as the point guard, you have to understand what your coach is thinking. Most of the time, you need to be on the same page, because things aren't going to go well for your team if you're not on the same page. So I think for myself is just getting to understand her. Like, obviously coming in here, it's like the same as new teammates. You got a new coach. You have to understand them and what they want to, and being on the same page and just building that trust between one another. And we have like a lot of those same conversations during practice. Is like, she's like, I want you to call the plays. I want you to have that leadership on the court, because during the games, like, the crowd's going to be loud. She's not going to be able to tell me every single play to run. So I think it's just like building that in practice so we're ready in the games as well.
Do you have a game where you could feel like the way all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm way more comfortable calling the plays or having that sort of is it still growing?
I feel like it's still growing. I think, you always want to think about it as a point guard, like how can I put my teammates in a position to be successful? Who's just made a shot? Who needs a shot? Things like that. So like, those are all things that I'm kind of thinking of as I go to call play, all while trying to manage myself at the same time. And so I think it's a lot, but like, as a point guard, that's what's fun for me. You get to pick apart the game of basketball, and also try to make your teammates better, make your team better at the same time, and also try to be on the same page as the coaches. So you're trying to balance a lot. And I think for myself, like, that's only going to continue to improve. And I think it's night and day different from when we first started the season.
You might not want to focus on the individual awards, Angel, either, but you both have talked about wanting to grow the game. How big is it, the fact that there are these conversations about you two with rookie of the year, both of you guys are in a playoff push. I mean, in terms of keeping the interest or keeping that interest and attention on the game.
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, you always want people to talk about women's basketball and, hopefully it's done in a way where it's positive about the game and how amazing the game is and how great the players are. And I think appreciating this league for what it is and how many amazing players are in this league. And there's a lot of amazing other games other than just the Fever in the Sky, and appreciating that too. Like, I've been one that's always supported the WNBA and loved having it on and love watching it. And I do the same now that I'm in the league. I try to watch as many games as I can, not even from the standpoint of like, I want to know what they're doing, but just as a fan, like I love watching the game. Like I just love basketball. I have men's basketball on, I have women's basketball on all the time. Like I'm just a fan of the game. And I think the more we can grow that across the board in the WNBA is going to be huge.
Last one. The busy schedule right now mimics the start of the season. It's talked about the growth of chemistry from the start until now, but I'm also just curious, how do you think you guys as a team yourself handled the travel as well?
Yeah, I think, it's hard, especially when you're going on long road trips and you have days in between to prep, and sometimes you can't practice, sometimes you can, but at the same time, you have to remind yourself, like, every team's dealing with the same thing. Like, you're not special in any way. So there's no excuses. I think for us, especially making this last push, we're lucky enough where we have quite a few home games through September after this road trip where we go here and then Dallas. I think we only have one more trip after that. So the ones at home are super important. And then I think as a professional athlete, like you have to be able to take care of your body, whether that's sleep, whether that's nutrition, whether that's getting the proper recovery. And, that's kind of on your shoulders to take care of. Nobody's going to be there to babysit you. And I think our group has done a really good job of that. And, this last push, that's going to be important.
Just one for me, when it comes to Caitlin's turnovers, how comfortable are you with obviously a certain number of turnovers coming from her level of aggressiveness as far as the way, she plays the game?
Yeah.
Just curious how you make peace with that. Is it an okay thing? Like what?
Oh, no, turnovers are over. Okay.
Okay.
But you know what, just the way she plays, you have to give her a little grace with, she has a vision that sees things that sometimes other players on the court just don't see, and sometimes they're just not ready. That's where we've grown, because I think now our players are really, we're starting to understand what she sees and putting themselves in those positions to catch those passes that she's making. So yeah, a couple games ago, I think she only had 2. She was really proud about that game. We talked about that one for sure.
So what's the number you'd like to see her at?
I love 2. 2 would be awesome. Yeah, that'd be great. That's just how the game's going. We talk about flow, and when you have to really execute offense and take care of the basketball during certain spells, we tend to have like some runs that happen to us that a lot of it has to do with our turnovers first, and then us just giving up transition baskets, and then either a turnover or a bad shot or trying to get it back. So, just trying to limit those, and especially those moments.
Even with what you saw of Lexie's performance the other night, I was just curious if she was going to get another start tonight.
Oh yeah, Lexie is smart person.
Front court can be so special on any given night. What do you think of what they do, and what do you guys have to do to combat that, especially given the way you play at the tempo you have?
Yeah, I think for sure all 5 of our players, listen, AB and all the post players have to get out and run. I think that's to our advantage if they're running the floor. I challenged them all last night at shoot around today. Just, these guys there's 3 of the top offensive rebounders on the court out there between Cardoso and Angel and AB. So, we got to make sure that we are limiting those second chance points for them. That's a real strength of theirs. Just got to make sure all 5 are blocking out.
You talked about flow. You want Caitlin Clark and Boston playing well together. Obviously, to get them started early, what is required to get them in sync early in a game like this?
Yeah, we like to always try to initiate post touches early. I think if we can get some post touches, get AB or Liz some touches down low, it kind of makes the defense kind of sink in and creep in, which opens up everything for those shooters. And we're shooting the ball extremely well right now. I'm gonna knock on some wood. And so just want to make sure that, once we establish that, then that opens up everything for those outside players and their shots.
He comes in, she's kind of was the focal point, and then Aaliyah comes in, then Caitlin comes in, the offense is changing and the style is changing. How is her versatility and selflessness kind of made this all work?
Yeah, I mean, She is, I say it every time I talk about Kelsey, just a special player. She's so dynamic, her speed, her quickness. You know, you run a few things for her, a backdoor action or coming off a pin down or stagger, her speed gets her open. I mean, sometimes they can't catch, I mean, even if they don't get hit on the screens. But she's, you know, she can get downhill. She's playing such good defense right now for us as well, which is a part of her game that, you know, she really wanted to get better at. So just all around, she's just, she's getting some great looks because of what you said with Caitlin and Aaliyah, taking some of the attention off of her when it's just been on her. So she's getting to take some wide open shots that she hasn't had in the past.
Don't have Katie Lou. You went to that 3-guard group a bunch in the last game. Do you feel like you're experimenting with those a little bit? How comfortable are you with them and what do you like about it? They provide you?
Yeah, I think that just, you know, it kind of depends on the personnel of the other team, whether we're able to do that or not. That gives us a lot of speed, which is good. It also helped, you know, that's a pretty good defensive lineup as well. So just, you know, whatever's needed in that moment, with the team that we're playing, you know, that can kind of, we can kind of go to that lineup if we need that. But yeah, you know, like I said, like we're looking to play the people that are going to help us put ourselves in position to win games.
So you mentioned Cardoso, that she's kind of in a different place than she was maybe the first 3 times you guys played. What have you seen from her since the break that maybe worries you more than in the first 3 games?
Yeah, she is taking her time. I feel like she was trying to make something happen when she got in earlier, and now she's getting touches. She's just such great size, and she has great hands. You know, she tipped the ball in their game the other night and then took off running to the rim and outran everybody to get a layup right to start that game. She's just, you know, she's just one of these players out of this class that just is going to keep getting better. She's going to be a great player.
Just what do you like about Aaliyah and Maris together? And do you think they'll have some more time together with Sky Stone?
Yeah, we've experimented with that a little bit, and I think that's opened up AB a little bit on the inside with the way Dee Dee's able to shoot the ball. She's hit some big threes for us. She's just able to spread the defense, and AB's able to work in there. And if they want to choose to come in and try to double AB, you know, we've got options out on the perimeter to knock shots down.
Christie, earlier today, we were talking about defense and how you wanted to see the team improve in that area. For that improvement to happen, is it about consistency? Is it adding more layers to it? Is it about individual defense team? Like, what does that improvement, like, what would that look like to you?
Yeah, first it starts with the ball pressure, and that's something that we hadn't really done a great job in the past, and that's what we really focused on. Just, you've got to make people feel you, and we weren't doing that early. And then we did a really good job of like executing the initial actions of opposing teams, whether pin down or stagger. But then once the ball moved and the offense was broken, now we've got to break down and guard our man, be loaded up on that help side. And so just understanding all those, a lot of times we weren't on that nail in that 2-9 spot. We were over guarding our man when we needed to be in help team defense. So just all those things, just being able to work on those we've gotten better at being in those right spots, which has made us a better defensive team.